Hello and welcome to today's session of Yoga for Strength and Vitality. I hope you're well, I hope you're healthy and happy, and practicing yoga will help you with all of that. Before we start our postures today, I would like to say some words about seating positions because I oftentimes see people sitting in a yoga class cross-legged and utterly uncomfortable. You see in yoga magazines, on signs and so on and so forth about yoga, people sitting in a half lotus or a full lotus, cross-legged on the floor. And oftentimes students in a yoga class feel they have to do that too. And it is hard if you haven't practiced for a long time and are very flexible, or if you're a little older, it is hard to sit on a floor cross-legged. There's a trick, however. If we sit cross-legged, our knees are usually a little bit up in the air, and that's fine for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes. But if you want to sit for like a 15 or 20-minute meditation, this gets uncomfortable. So the idea is the hips have to be higher than the knees. And the way we get there is with a cushion. There are these meditation cushions of different forms and shapes and sizes. So you're usually a little harder than a regular pillow or regular cushion. And if you just kind of put those at the edge of your sit bones, all of a sudden, when you sit down, the hips are higher than the knees. And like this, you can sit comfortably for hours on end. That might be a little exaggerated, but it definitely works for a 30-minute meditation. So just a little tip, if you are like many people, cross-legged on the floor is not comfortable for you, just try it with elevating your sit bones a little bit so that the hips are higher than the knees, and that adds a whole dimension of comfort to your seated pose. And let's stay seated in a comfortable cross-legged position, whether you have a pillow or not. And we'll move into Yoga Mudra, starting the class with a symbol of yoga. Reaching around the back, clasping your hands behind the back. With the inhalation, gently arching back. With the exhalation, bending forward, forehead towards the knees, towards the floor, and lifting your arms behind you. To release, lower the arms onto your back, sitting up, pausing for a moment with eyes closed. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, inhaling health, vitality, and goodness. Exhaling toxins, judgment, things we don't need. And then blinking the eyes open. Let's do a side stretch, bringing the left hand down next to you, right arm out and up with the inhalation, reaching up high and then arching above your head, bending sideways. You can bend your supporting elbow if you're very flexible. Maybe bring that forearm onto the mat. With the inhalation, releasing, coming up. Lower the right arm and lifting the left arm up. Inhaling, reaching up and over. Moving on to the other side. Try to keep the sit bones and the knees on the mat if you can. And with the next inhalation, releasing the pose. Pausing for a moment with eyes closed. And blinking the eyes open, let's add some stretch and movement to the lower back by doing Sufi circles. Circling the torso. You close your eyes, just move the way your body wants to move. Sometimes it's faster, other times it's slower. Sometimes it's barely moving. Switching directions, opposite direction. And sitting up. Rotating the shoulders forward, up and back. Placing the hands on the shoulders, lifting the elbows up, rotating the elbows forward, up and back. And then back up and forward. Stretching the left ear to the shoulder, letting the head hang sideways. And the right ear to the shoulder. Encircling the head, making head and neck rotations 3 times each direction. Opposite direction. Sitting still and standing up. Beginning with our standing postures. Let's do Tadasana, the mountain pose. Feet about hip width apart. In steps parallel to each other, lifting the toes up, fanning the toes out. As you place them down, feel your weight is evenly placed on all 4 corners of your feet. Then cupping the belly and the lower back, you want to lift up the front, push the lower back down. Lifting the arms up, palms facing up. And bring the arms back behind you, maybe half an inch, maybe a whole inch. Notice your shoulder blades are coming closer together. Straightening the upper back. And slowly let the arms come down to the side. When the pinkies touch, turn the palms in. Notice your shoulders are squared, your spine is straight. And last but not least, 2 fingers at the chin, pushing the chin back, lengthening your spine with your head and neck. Close your eyes, make a mental note of your pose. Tadasana, or the mountain pose. Straight and strong like a mountain. This is how we want to walk through life, not only stand when we are adjusting ourselves in a yoga class. Maybe during the course of the day, a few times when you stand in line somewhere, or when you wait for somebody, or wait for your tea to be ready, just do Tadasana. Move through the steps with arms up, palms up, and so on and so forth, straightening your spine. Be mindful of your posture. And let's do 5 full yoga breaths from here. Inhaling through the nose with the exhalation, bending forward, hands towards your feet. With the inhalation, rising up bone by bone. Coming up onto the toes into a V. Gazing at a focal point as you come up onto the toes. We need balance. And exhaling forward and down. Timing your movement with your breath. And one more time, stretching up, filling the lungs with oxygen, then coming onto the heels, palms at the chest, pausing with your eyes closed. And let's begin with balance. Practicing balance by having one foot exactly in front of the other, heel touching the toes. Weight is evenly placed on both legs. You can have your hands out in your peripheral vision. If you feel balanced and still, crossing forearms, placing the hands on the opposite shoulders. Focal point is important, ideally at eye level or above. And let's do the opposite side. So opposite foot forward, switching feet. Heel touching toes. Finding your balance. Practicing balance is so important as our equilibrium declines after age 35. And it's so important to have good balance for proper walking. And if we trip, we will not, hopefully not fall when we have good balance, catching ourselves. And let's release, feet side by side. Close your eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. And let's begin with tree pose. Weight onto the left leg, bringing your right foot up, either inside your lower leg, inside your upper leg, or even on top of your thigh. If you get a focal point for balance, you can have your hands out in your peripheral vision. That always helps with balance. Or palms at the chest. I am calm. I am poised. And release. Slowly lower your foot. Pause with your eyes closed, breathing deeply. And opening the eyes, gazing at a focal point for the other side. Weight onto the right, bringing your left foot up, either inside the lower leg, inside the upper leg, or on top of your thigh. Hands out in your peripheral vision, if that helps with balance, or palms at the chest. And slowly releasing, lowering your foot, pausing with eyes closed. Take a deep breath or two. I am calm, I am poised. When we mentally repeat the affirmations that some poses have, it helps us to stay in the moment and keeps other thoughts away. It really helps with balance to repeat, I am calm, I am poised. Let's move into another balance pose, the eagle pose. So weight onto the left leg, bending your left supporting knee a little bit as you wrap your right foot around. Then your left arm is on top of the right, elbows bent, palms touching, and bring the elbows forward and slightly up. The affirmation is in the center of life's storms. I stand serene. Move the elbows a little forward and a little higher up, increasing the stretch across the upper back and shoulders. And to release, first untwist the arms, then uncross your legs, standing straight and tall, pausing with eyes closed. And moving on to the other side, weight onto the right, bending your right supporting knee, wrapping your left leg around, tucking the toes under if you can. Right arm is on top, elbows bent, palms touching, moving the elbows forward and slightly up. And mentally affirming, in the center of life's storms, I stand serene. And release, untwisting arms, uncrossing legs, pausing with eyes closed again. Let's step the feet apart, nice and wide, at least wider than the shoulders, wider than your mat if you can. We'll move into a standing star pose, having the palms facing up, arms up parallel to the floor, tucking the tailbone under, gazing at a focal point in the distance or closing your eyes. Star pose helps us with energy. So if you ever feel that you have low energy, perhaps in the afternoon, before you reach for that cup of coffee, if you can, maybe do the star pose for a few minutes. Just try it out and see if it makes a difference. Take this into a side triangle. Take a deep inhalation. As you exhale, bring your left arm down onto your leg and your right arm up, straight up to the ceiling, looking up past your outstretched hand. Feel one hand is reaching for the floor, the other hand is reaching for the sky. And back to the standing star, palms up. Take an inhalation, and as you exhale, moving on to the opposite side, right arm down and left arm up, looking up. And moving back to the standing star, just for a couple of breaths. And we'll move into center unicorn from here. The legs are already apart. Clasping the hands behind your back with the inhalation arching back. With the exhalation bending forward, lifting your arms behind you, relaxing the kneecaps so the knees are soft. There's a micro bend in the knees. Arms up high and head down low. Keeping your head down, lower the arms onto your back, sliding your hands down. Place the hands on the shins right under your knees, straightening your arms. Torso and head is parallel to the floor, looking down. And moving into a triangle variation, bringing your left hand down in between your feet, about a foot forward, and your right arm up. Both arms are straight, looking up past your outstretched hand. And let's switch sides right away. Lower your right, replace it with the left. And lifting your left arm up, looking up. And untwisting with the arms outstretched to the side, with the inhalation coming up. Arching back, stepping your feet together. Arms to the side, back to Tadasana, pausing with eyes closed. And stepping to the front of the mat, we'll do jackknife pose. With the inhalation, lifting the arms up by the ears. With the inhalation, stretching up on the toes. With the exhalation, swan diving forward. So arms down the side, keeping your back straight as long as comfortable. And then let the arms hang, letting your head hang. If you like, you can dangle a little bit. Moving arms, moving shoulders, moving hips. And reach around your legs, holding onto your forearms or your elbows, trying to guide your torso a little closer to your legs. And then clasping the hands behind your back, lifting the arms up, guiding your torso closer to the knees. All the while breathing deeply, releasing tension. And slowly lower the arms into your back. Let the hands slide down your legs, place them next to your feet, separating your fingers nice and wide, and stepping back into downward facing dog, left foot back and right foot back. Now your hands are shoulder width apart, and feet are about hip width apart. And you can pedal your feet, stretching one heel down, bending the opposite knee. Stretch the calf muscle, the area behind the knee, and the hamstring. And finding your downward dog pose where you can hold it in stillness. Chest towards the knees, hips are up high. And weight onto the left leg. Bringing your right leg up behind you for a three-legged dog pose. Lifting that leg up high. Bending that upper knee and open the hip to the left. Then bring that right knee to the right elbow. So engaging the muscles in the core, the tummy muscles, helps you with that strength pose. The lower leg is hovering in the air. And back up. And lower your foot. And raise the other side. Weight onto the right, lifting your left leg up. Bending your upper knee, open the hip to the side. And bring that left knee to the left elbow. And back up. And lower your foot onto the mat, the knees onto the mat, tops of the feet on the mat, sitting back in extended child's pose, forehead resting on the mat as well. coming up onto hands and knees for cat-cow, placing your wrists under the shoulders and the fingers are spread again, the knees under the hips. With the exhalation, rounding your back like an angry cat. With the inhalation, sagging down and looking up. And moving back and forth 2 or 3 more times, exhaling, rounding, inhaling, sagging down, aiming to move only the back, all the muscles, all the bones in the back. Keeping the back straight. Bring your left knee to the forehead and lifting that leg back up behind you. Then bending your elbows towards the back, forehead to the mat. Pushing the hands into the mat, lifting up, knee back to the forehead, and down onto the mat, and right into the forehead. Lifting your leg behind you, looking up. And forehead to the mat, bending your elbows towards the back. And knee back to the forehead. Down onto the mat. Let's do cat-cow again, rounding your spine like an angry cat. With the inhalation, sagging down, moving your hips out, looking up. With the exhalation, sitting on your heels, pushing yourself back. With the inhalation, sliding forward into cobra pose. So we need to move low on the mat, slithering like a snake into cobra pose. Placing the hands under the shoulders, elbows are hugging your body, so they're close into the body. And arching up, shoulders away from the ears, keeping the hips on the mat if you can. I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. And with the exhalation, slowly lowering down. Relax the arms to the side. Place one cheek onto the mat, pausing for a moment. And lifting your head, placing the hands under the shoulders again, curling the toes under. And see if you can, in one movement, move up into downward facing dog. If not, come onto the knees first and then up into down dog. Take your adjustments, holding the pose one more time in stillness. Feet hip width apart or closer together, hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread, chest towards the knees. And slowly begin to walk your feet towards your hands. Keep a soft bend in your knees as you place your palms together, rising up bone by bone until you're straight and still. And double inhale, double exhale, double inhale through the nose, double exhale through the mouth. Pausing with eyes closed. Do another balance pose, the flying bird, into Ardha Chandrasana, the balancing half moon. So weight onto the left leg. Bring the arms out to the side. As you lift your right leg behind you, bring the arms up from the shoulders. until the torso is about parallel to the floor. Arms are parallel to the floor, balancing. Flying bird pose, a variation of Warrior One. And bring your left hand down to the floor, your right hand to the waist. Dorsiflex the foot that's up in the air, turning the body sideways and lifting your arm when you're ready. Adha Chandrasana, half moon pose. This is the balancing half moon. And lowering your arm, lower your foot next to the other. Again, bend your knees, place palms together, rising up as you inhale. Palms to the chest, breathing deeply. I just said a variation of Warrior One, it's variation of Warrior Three. Let's do the other side. Again, beginning with the balance pose. Lying bird pose. Weight onto the right as you lift your leg behind. Bring the arms up, torso parallel to the floor. Focal point is straight down on the mat in front of you. Your head and neck is in line with your spine. And for Adha Chandrasana, bring your right hand down, left hand to the waist. Dorsiflex the upper foot, turning the body sideways. And lifting your arm when you're ready. Try to straighten the supporting leg. This is a great pose. If you like to practice that, to perfect it, you can do that against a wall, standing really close to a wall. And then you don't have the balance part in the way, and you can find your alignment and get confidence for this pose. And to come out, lower your hands, lower your foot. Palms together with the inhalation, rising up bone by bone, pausing, palms at the chest, breathing deeply. Let's also do Warrior One and Warrior Two now that we've done the balance pose Warrior Three. From the front of the mat, hands at the waist, stepping back with the right foot, bending your left knee, making sure that knee stays above the heel or above the ankle, not overextend the knee. Back leg is reasonably straight, and it's okay to swivel your heel down if that feels more comfortable, or have it up in the air. Then squaring the hips to the front with the inhalation, lifting the arms up by the ears. Warrior One. For Warrior Two, swivel the back heel down. Bring the right arm back, left arm forward, looking past your outstretched left fingertips. And straighten your left knee, bring the toes forward, stepping your feet together, arms to your sides, pausing with eyes closed. Breathing deeply, you always can double inhale, double exhale if you like. Stepping to the front of the mat again for the other side, hands at the waist, now stepping back with the left leg. Always take time to adjust your body for your pose. Warrior one with the inhalation, arms up by the ears. And moving into warrior two, swivel the back heel down, left arm back, right arm forward, palms down, looking past your outstretched right hand. And straighten your knee. Bring the toes forward. Bring your feet together. Arms to your side, pausing with your eyes closed. And let's sit down and lie on our backs, preparing for some simple inversions. If you like, you can hug your knees to the chest, move from side to side. And cup your knees with your palms, making circles with the knees. It's a wonderful way to massage the lower back. And then preparing for the inversions. Try to bring your arms close to your body, or maybe even tuck your arms a little bit under your body, because the closer the elbows are together behind your back, the easier it is to hold your inverted poses. And then lifting your legs straight up, perpendicular to the floor. And you can rotate feet and ankles a few times in each direction. And getting ready for the simple inverted pose. With some momentum, bring your legs over your head. Lifting your hips, supporting your hips with your hands into a simple inversion. Sanskrit word is Viparita Karani. For a shoulder stand, you either stay in this pose in simple inverted, or move into a shoulder stand by walking your hands further up your back till your body's in a straight line from your shoulders up. And lower both legs into a parallel plow. So lower the legs parallel to the floor. If you can, outstretch your arms behind you, palms and forearms flat on the mat. Your arms are behind you. Maybe at this time, clasp your hands. Bring your arms to your elbows, hands closer together. And with your next inhalation, moving back up into shoulder stand, lifting the legs simultaneously. And to come out, you can either bridge out, counterbalancing with bent knees, counterbalancing one leg with the other, or bending both knees and rolling down slowly, gently, bone by bone. Keeping your knees bent, setting the feet onto the mat. And we'll do a figure four pose or threading the needle before we do a bridge. So placing the right ankle on top of the left knee or thigh. Reaching down with your right hand in between your legs, left hand on the outside, holding onto the knee. So ideally, if you can reach your knee, holding onto the kneecap. If there's too much tension, holding on behind the thigh. The idea is to just guide the legs closer to your torso, opening the right hip. And releasing the side. Let's move on to the other side right away. Left ankle on right knee or thigh. Holding on to the right knee. There's always hip tension, so feel free to deeply breathe and visualize with each breath melting the tension away. And slowly releasing. Keeping the knees bent, setting the feet down. The knees are only hip width apart. Now we move into bridge pose, lifting the hips up, reaching down, clasping your hands underneath, moving your shoulder blades closer together, squeezing the hips up high. And lifting your left leg, leading with the heel, and then lower it to a 45-degree angle, keeping the hips up. And lower your left and raise your right leg. Lower it 45 degrees. And lower. For the fish pose, uncrossing your hands or unclasping your hands, sitting on your hands or on your arms underneath you, straighten your legs and relax your legs, arching the upper body onto your elbows and letting your head rest back. Most of the weight's on the elbows. If you'd like to do a strength variation here, you can lift your left leg up 45 degrees. Stay in the fish pose though. And lower your left and raise your right. And lower your right. And raise both legs. And slowly lower down. Make sure all the weight's on the elbows before you lift your head and let your back rest down. Pausing for a moment. Breathing deeply. Let's move the arms up and out from the shoulders like a T, palms facing down. Bring the knees to the chest. With the inhalation, with the exhalation, lower the knees over to the left. Try to keep feet and knees together. With the inhalation back to the center and exhaling to the right. Moving back and forth, inhaling up and exhaling down. Couple more times. And hugging your knees, rolling from tailbone to the hip, back and forth 2 or 3 times until you come up to a seated position. And having the legs outstretched in front of you for posterior stretch. With the inhalation, reaching out and up, stretching your spine. With the exhalation, folding forward, having your feet flexed so the toes are pointed up, holding on where you comfortably can. Some people are at the shins, others at your knees, ankles, or toes. If you can easily reach your toes, 2 fingers around the big toe, cap it with a thumb. This is a mudra called a mudra in yoga, which is an energy lock. Take a deep inhalation here, stretching your spine once more, and with the exhalation, folding forward. Slowly releasing the pose, inhaling, sliding back up, pausing with hands on the thighs, eyes closed. Do a variation of the inclined plane on the forearms. So bringing the forearms back behind you, elbows fairly close together. And with the inhalation, lifting the hips up and letting your head rest back. And slowly lowering down, sitting back up. Pausing with hands on the thighs, eyes closed. And for the half or full spinal twist, bringing the knees up. Reaching down with your right hand to your left ankle and place that left ankle to the right hip. And stepping your right leg across to the outside of the left knee. It's already half a pretzel. Then bring the left elbow up, pressing against that knee from the outside. You can hold a mudra with your fingers if you like, thumb and any of the fingers together for mudra. And bring your right arm behind you, really close to your body so that you sit with straight spine, looking over your right shoulder and looking back. Now, if you like to do the full bind, the full pose, bringing your left arm or under your right knee from the outside in, threading it through, reaching around the back with your right hand. See if you can clasp hands or touch fingers, and looking over your right shoulder again. Slowly releasing, untwisting, bringing the knees up in front of you for the other side. Now reaching down, holding on to the right ankle, bring it to the left hip. Left leg steps across to the outside of the right knee. Right elbow pushing against that knee from the outside, holding mudra perhaps. Opposite hand behind you, close to the body, looking over your shoulder and looking back. If you like to bind the pose, if you've done it on the other side, you might want to try it here as well. Using your right hand, threading it through that left leg from the outside under the knee, reaching around the back with your left hand, letting fingers meet, hands clasp, looking over your shoulder. Breathing deeply, enjoying the twist. And releasing the pose. It's time for our deep relaxation. So lying on your backs. If there's another movement you like to do, sometimes it feels good to finish a posture class with a happy baby pose. By bending your knees, holding onto your feet or ankles, and massaging the back, rolling from side to side. Or just get ready for deep relaxation by lying on your back, your legs straight, your arms by your side, palms facing up. Making sure you are comfortable in your position. And let's begin deep relaxation. You're lying on your back. Maybe lift the legs an inch or two. Let them plop down. Making fists with your hands, lifting those. And let them fall down. Make sure your spine is straight. Your head and neck is in line with your spine. But most of all, that you're comfortable. Make adjustments accordingly. Let's begin deep relaxation by seeing, feeling, or imagining a soft white mist-like light entering your room. As light moves towards you and gently surrounds your beautiful physical form. It lifts you up and it feels like you're floating on a cloud. Invite this light to enter the toes of your left foot, toe by toe. Belly arch, heel, ankle, left lower leg, knee, thigh, and hip. Let's guide this light into the toes of your right foot, toe by toe. Belly arch, heel, ankle, right lower leg, knee, thigh, and hip. Both legs are completely relaxed. They feel hollow. Now guide this healing light into your torso, entering your abdomen, your stomach, your chest. Allow it to move deeper inside, touching your internal organs with this healing light. Moving up, encircling your beautiful heart, expanding out and filling your whole chest with healing white light. Now guiding this light into your back, relaxing away tension from your lower back, moving through the middle part into your upper back, relaxing all tension away. This light now enters the fingers of your left hand, finger by finger. Moving through your wrist into your forearm, elbow, upper arm, and shoulder. Into your right hand, finger by finger. Right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, and shoulder. This peaceful light moves into your neck and throat, like a wave flowing into your face, relaxing your jaw, filling mouth and lips, your nose, your cheeks, enters your ears, touches your temples, moves into your eyes and into your forehead. This peaceful light leaves your body through your head once more, surrounding you, expanding out and filling your room with your peace. Expanding out further and leaving your room. The peaceful light of consciousness moves through your city, over houses and trees, over oceans, over mountains, over continents, into space, leaving you completely relaxed and completely in peace. Enjoy this peace. Enjoy. Gently preparing to guide your consciousness back. Bring it back over houses and trees, back into your room, back into your physical form. Energy and consciousness enters your head, fills your brain, moves down into your face, feel it behind your eyes, down your neck and throat, into your shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Revitalized energy and consciousness fills your torso from your chest, down into your stomach, all the way to the hips, thighs, lower legs, feet, and toes. Moving fingers and moving toes. Bringing the arms up, double inhale, stretching up, double exhale, relaxing down. Do that again, double inhale, intense, lifting the arms up, double exhale, relax. Slowly rolling over onto your favorite side, just lie there for a moment longer, with your head on your elbow like a pillow. And then sitting up, coming to a seated position. Let's do some finger flexes, flexing the fingers down, forward, out to the side, and up to the ceiling. And shake out the hands. Let's bring the arms out and up, palms facing up, stretching up one more time. Inhale. And with the exhalation, palms to the chest. This was our class today. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the day or rest of the evening. And I'm gonna say namaste, which means my soul bows to your soul. Namaste.